Well, it is now raining at the City Arena in Trnava. To use its English name, I'll let Rob Phillips give you the full Slovakian name of that stadium shortly. But it's been raining, hasn't it, on Rob Page these past few days after Gibraltar. Can he spoil Slovakia's parade before they head to the Euros and Wales head in to a summer break that no one wanted? It is Slovakia against Wales, live on Radio Wales and BBC Sounds this Sunday evening in the company of Nathan Blake, the former Wales striker, alongside Rob Phillips.
Yes, it wasn't supposed to be like this, was it? This was supposed to be the game where both sides headed off into Germany afterwards. Well, only Slovakia are going there, but it is an important game for Wales, who'll be hoping to do what Sweden did to Wales before Euro 2016 and send Slovakia into action with a thumping defeat. Remember, Wales lost 3-0 to Sweden before the 2016 competition and went on to reach the semi-finals, and in their first game they beat Slovakia 8 years ago on Tuesday, and three of the players they faced that day, Peter Pekarik, Juraj Kucka and Ondrej Duda, who scored, are in the starting lineup for Slovakia tonight. So it's Dubravka of Newcastle in goal, across the back Pekarik, Vavro, Skriniar the captain, and Hansko in midfield, Kucka, Stanislav Lobotka, Duda, and then up front, Shranz Bozenik and Lukas Haralsin. Wales have 4 survivors from the Gibraltar game. They have Danny Ward in goal, Finn Stevens, Ethan Ampadu captaining for the first time, Ben Cabango and Jay De Silva. We think in the back four, that remains to be seen. If the lineups are correct, Nathan Broadhead, Jordan James, Josh Sheehan and Dan James will be the 4 in midfield behind a front line, and now all Premier League front line of Kiefer Moore and Brennan Johnson. Ethan Ampadu, what a time it's been for him. He is just 23. This is his 52nd cap and the first time he captains his country. And let's be honest, it's a glimpse into the future with Ethan Ampadu, because as Rob Page has said often enough, he will captain Wales on a permanent basis in the near future. He's got a job to do as skipper tonight as Wales look to regain a little bit of credibility after that goalless draw on the Rock of Gibraltar, and they've immediately got a throw in down their right hand side, which Finn Stevens is going to take. Plays it back to Cabango. First touch for Danny Ward in his own 6-yard box. Behind him, the Red Wall, who've travelled in big numbers again. They might have booed at the end of the game in Gibraltar, but they are still backing Wales in person, and the Ampadu is indeed, Nathan Blake, playing in the back line.
Yeah, as we suspected, Rob, there was a chance he could be in midfield, but looking at the lineup, he was always going to play alongside Cabango, and I think his experience, sounds strange, doesn't it? 23, 50-odd caps, but his experience is going to be vital this evening.
Broadhead, nice little turn, but he's brought down. Rob Page gives him a bit of applause. Been a difficult few days. I don't think he's on social media, which is just as well, given some of the response to Thursday's goalless draw. And I think, as our reporter David Pritchard said, this goes back to Armenia a year ago and the disappointing World Cup as well. But he is starting the second part of a 4-year deal, 2 years in, and there is no suggestion that he's under pressure from the FA of Wales, but they are councillors who live among these fans who make the decision, so we shall see.
Absolutely, Rob.
Slovakia hoists the ball forward. Stevens, the Wales right back, heads it away, picked up by James, and Broadhead makes a run through the centre circle, can't find the bandaged Dan James, again sub on Thursday, but when a red bandage across the cut that he sustained in that Championship playoff final defeat for Leeds United.
Yeah, Broadhead needed to go in behind there, or Dan James needed to check his run. Neither player did either. Just gave the ball away.
Slovakia all in blue with a bit of red trim, and Wales all in red. 2.5 minutes gone on BBC Radio Wales, 0-0. Slovakia slide the ball into the penalty area, cleared away by Swansea City's Cabango. Skriniar is up high. Wales haven't cleared it, and the shot comes in, which Ward saves from 20-odd yards, and that time it was Robert Bozenik, who's got 6 goals for his country, plays in Boa Vista in Portugal. Decent enough effort on the turn in the D, Nathan Blake.
Yeah, very good shot and turn and shot, sorry. It's actually a good save by Ward down to his right hand side, kept hold of the ball as well, really importantly.
Sheehan clips the ball forward down the left hand side. Pekarik is being chased down by Dan James, but we've got people there in Lobotka who picks it up, heads towards the touchline. This is all just outside the Slovakian penalty area. They are heading into a group with Belgium, Ukraine and Romania. Oh, ball given away by Stevens, could be danger here, and he was breathing a sigh of relief as Haraslin fired well wide, clipped it wide from 20-odd yards.
Yeah, Stevens' heart will be in his mouth, Rob. No look pass, just played it blindly. It was a really good interception, well read. And Haslin's shot just not on target. See what he's trying to do, he's trying to bend it with that right foot, start it outside the far post and draw it in, but just got it all wrong, fortunately for Wales.
Dubravka in goal for Slovakia. He's their number 1. The Fulham goalkeeper Marek Rodak is their second keeper. They've announced their 26 players to go to Germany. They kick off a week on Monday in Frankfurt against Belgium. Long ball, which is cut out nicely by Stevens. That time is not the best back pass, but Ward is quick enough off his line to hoist it into halfway. Moore went tumbling, complains he was fouled. Referee not impressed. He's Daniel Stefanski from Poland. Wales win the ball back though. Charged forward by Brennan Johnson into the penalty area. Clips it across. Now, did that take a touch out for a corner? No, it's a goal kick. Didn't touch anybody.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he doesn't go for goal here. I thought once he took that touch outside the defender, there's only one thing he's going to do. Brennan Johnson, head down, put his laces right through it, aiming for the far post. He decides to clip it. It's like a cross to Dan James, but just had too much pace on it. He's too far ahead of Daniel.
Yeah, you would have fancied if that was him at Spurs, he would have tried to bury it.
Well, he's inside the box, Rob.
Yeah.
You know, first 5 minutes of the game, go and try your luck.
I do think he's yet to really spark for Wales, Brennan Johnson. But maybe this is the night. Cross into the box. Oh, and it was a low cross, which Bozenik went stooping to head away, head towards goal. It was Hansko of Feyenoord who curled it in from the left-hand side.
The cross is fantastic.
It was brilliant.
I think Bozenik just doesn't know where to go with his feet or his head, and that indecision just takes that split second away, and then he gets it all wrong by going with his head.
De Silva gives the ball away. Moore tried to win it back, thought it was a Wales throw, but it's Slovakia throw, almost level with the Wales penalty area down their right-hand side. Not a full stadium by any means, the Antona Malatinsky Stadium in Trnava. It is Slovakia's second stadium. And you would have thought for their farewell game it would be packed, wouldn't you? It's only 18,000 capacity.
You would, yeah. See the team off and what have you. Those, maybe they're all going to, all football fans are going to Germany.
Going to Germany, yeah.
You never know.
Again, they swing the ball out to the left-hand side, picked up in midfield by Hansko, who's seen as one of the rising stars, although he's 26, plays his football in Feyenoord. Good tackle by Sheehan in midfield. Now sends James scurrying down the left-hand side, inside left position. Blue shirts converge on him. The ricochet may take it into the path of Moore, but it's taken off him. And Slovakia look to counter. Curled down to that right-hand side. Ampadu has defensive work to do and does it well. Nicks it off Hansko. And this is De Silva inside the Wales half, leaves it to Sheehan. Square ball to Cabango. 0-0 after 8 minutes in Tanava on BBC Radio Wales. James overhits the ball forward. You can see what he's trying to do. But Dubravka plays it out to Skriniar, who plays for Paris Saint-Germain.
I do love the poise that Ethan Ampadu, Rob. Someone so young, really learned his trade well. Been around on loan, really good season with Leeds, but just looks so accomplished.
Yeah, he does. So I said to you on Thursday, Rob Page has seen a stat that he's played more minutes than any other player in Europe this season.
Yeah.
And you probably wouldn't rule it out given the... Well, you played in the Championship, you know how many games there are, and they reached the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
Did okay in the Cups.
That's the hard one, is getting to the playoffs and then, you know, losing out. You know, picking yourself up from there has got to be difficult.
Good turn by James against Pekarek.
Wales have started the game quite well, pressed quite high at times, and have got a good tempo in their game at the moment.
0-0. Cabango inside his own half, square to Finn Stevens, up towards Moore, heads it down, can't head it into the path of Broadhead, his Ipswich Town teammate. The rain coming down in Havana.
Yeah, perfect conditions. And like Gibraltar, the pitch will be nice and slick, nice and cool as well.
Skriniar succeeded Marek Hamšík as skipper of Slovakia. What a player he was. You remember, almost put Slovakia ahead and Ben Davies cleared off the line.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe a clearance that turned the Euros towards Wales and set up their semi-final run. Well, we'll be watching these next Euros. Again, the ball inside the Wales penalty area, but Cabango is strong there and just eases Ondrej Duda off it.
And it's great defending because it's a good ball. A really good ball. Takes out Stevens with the ball. Plays it around the defender, into the striker's path. And as you say, Rob, really good, confident play by Cabango.
Yeah,
just lent on the attacker and seen the danger away.
Yeah, 9th cap for him. Ben Cabango had a decent season at Swansea City as well. Sheehan, the former Swansea City player, picks it up. Finds De Silva, who I thought was one of the successes against Gibraltar, sends Dan James. Lovely ball over the top. James has got there. Curls it into the middle, and Dubravka comes out. Kiefer Moore collides with him.
Yeah, there's nothing in that, but you know, this Dan James didn't think twice about crossing the ball. I think that's the option having Kiefer Moore on the team gives you. You don't have to think twice about it.
You've got to think as well with Jay De Silva, Nathan. He made his debut on Thursday. He might be one. Looking at Ben Davies, he's injured at the moment, so... But if Ben Davies plays, if Wales play a back five again, De Silva is slightly better suited to the wing-back role maybe than Ben Davies, who could play inside a left-sided centre-back role.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Ampadu, you can leave Ampadu in that position, play him right side and Ben Davies left side. It's the beauty of having a left-footed defender, Rob.
I suppose the midfield role for Ampadu might well have a bearing on.
Yeah, it'd be pity to see him
whether Ramsey is fit as well.
all ifs and buts, all probabilities.
Don't think Josh Sheehan did enough to impose himself on the game on Thursday to be.
No, I'd agree with you.
Considered a first choice.
Like I say, just the team played their positions. You know, I didn't see Josh ever trying to break the lines or anything like that.
Which he was adept at for Bolton in League One.
Absolutely.
He had a very good season. You know, as a former Bolton player, they speak highly of him.
Absolutely. It was just get it, give it, get it, give it. It was almost, like I said, it was like a training session.
Lovely play by Stevens then, only to give the ball away, but they've won it back with Johnson, who then loses out in the midfield scrap with Lobotka. Won a Serie A with Napoli last season. And the Slovakia manager, Francesco Calzona, we could arguably be, other than me and you, Nathan, the busiest man in football, because you know how many games we get to. He was managing Napoli and Slovakia the second half of the season.
Fair play.
He was their third boss in Napoli of the campaign. I was going to say,
managing Napoli can't be easy.
No, he's the first Serie A boss to manage a club and a country contemporaneously.
Okay.
Nice word, eh?
Yeah.
03700 100 110 if you know what it means. It's at the same time. 14 minutes gone, goalless in Trnava. It's a good ball up by Ward to Broadhead, but he just gets it taken off him.
It's a great ping out to him. You heard the bench as well shouting, hold, hold. Just a poor first touch from Broadhead.
Skriniar under pressure, goes back to Dubravka. And Slovakia bring it out up to midfield. Look at confident outfit, swinging out to the left side again. This is their option. Overlapping is Hansko. And then Stevens deals with that. Now Brennan Johnson, chance to run maybe. He's flipped over the ball and just has it nicked off him by Lobotka.
Yeah, just wanted him to travel there with the ball, Rob. Slovakia's defenders were up in attack, or the left back was, left winger and the midfielder.
Kutsker into the Wales penalty area. Ampadu deals with it. It's been a slight miscue, and Moore is being held, but no foul, says the referee. Doesn't get a lot, does he, at international level, Kiefer Moore?
No. He gets penalised a lot.
Why?
Well, he gets penalised a lot. I think he's just a big physical presence, but...
do you think refs just see his size and think, well...
Well, no, for a while, yeah. Like we spoke, if you remember one game, he just kept giving fouls away with his arms are too high.
Again, they get the ball out to the left-hand side. It was Haraslim the target again, the Sparta Prague player, but he couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, he's trying to take it first touch all in one and beat Stevens. It was a good effort, but just overran it. If he gets that right, Stevens either has to foul him and give a penalty away or let him go.
Well, they won 7 of their 10 games in qualifying, did Slovakia. They finished 8 points behind Group J winners Portugal, but they were 5 points ahead of Iceland. They also beat Iceland. They also 5 points ahead of Luxembourg, sorry, and also in the group were Iceland, Bosnia and Liechtenstein.
Yeah. It's a decent group.
It is a decent group, yeah. Their only 2 defeats were to Portugal. I think I saw there were something like 251 outsiders for... Moore was taken out again, but this time James has it. Curls across. James picks out. Jordan James picks out Dan James, edge of the penalty area, shoots, blocked. Ricochets off a Slovak defender. Now James again, 10 yards from the corner of the penalty area. De Silva's up high. Has to go back though. Sheehan into Cabango in the centre circle. Jordan James back to Ethan Ampadu. I'm not sure that was the ball, and they've gone all the way back to Danny Ward now. Well, Well, they had a bit of pressure going then. Ampadu at walking pace, brings in Cabango, 15 yards inside his own half. Out to Stevens. "18 minutes gone." The Slovak crowd trying to raise their team in some ways. Broadhead, his shirt was being held. Referee allows play to go on because Ampadu is in possession. Sheehan swings it out to the right-hand side. John doesn't find Johnson. Stevens will allow that to roll out to his manager, Rob Page. And it's 0-0, Nathan Blake.
Yeah, it's been a decent opening 18 minutes or so, Rob. Both teams doing okay. I can see Wales, just as you said, it just went backwards a moment or two ago. We'd like to see him try and build some pressure in that final third of Slovakia's.
Sheehan felt the tackle from behind by Bozanic. He's been around Feyenoord, Dusseldorf, now in Portugal, looks like the sun. Ampadu, nothing on, so goes square to Cabango. Thought about playing Stevens out right hand side, and Slovak player slipped then. He's still taking time to get up. Is Haraslin. He's okay now. I don't know if he was embarrassed or not.
I think he's embarrassed, right? I think you got it right.
Just stay down, look as if you're injured, son.
Yeah. Try and gain some sympathy.
Yeah. This is Cabango. Oh, it's an awkward ball for Broadhead, and he's given the ball away. And Jordan James is forced to pull down his opposite number, Haraslin, both wearing 17. Free kick taken quickly on halfway. They're into the box again with Haraslin, and the shot is blocked by Cabango. Bounces up for the game's first corner. It's 0-0.
Yeah, really good play from Slovakia. Great first touch, little 1-2 there. Haraslin doesn't get as much as he wants on that volley, but good play nevertheless.
Danny Ward looks to organise his defence at this left-sided corner, which Haraslin is going to take. Looks like a right-footed in-swinger. It's, what do I know? Well, it did sort of swing in, but it swung in when it got the other touchline on the other side and out for a throw into Wales.
Swung in and swung out, Rob.
Red Bull seem fairly content at the moment. It's 0-0. As I said, there are plenty of red seats around, huh? Plenty of empty seats. It is a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Or is it just me?
Yeah, you think it was a final game, and against, you know, Wales. It's not like Wales are ranked 200 or anything like that, so you'd think it'd be a huge send-off.
Yeah, they're actually 19 places above Slovakia in the world rankings on Wales.
What are Wales now, 29?
29, yeah, maybe dropping after Gibraltar.
Yeah, just be mindful of that.
Here's Broadhead. Quick feet to escape his tackler in midfield. Did that go out off a Slovak player? It did. It went out of Vavro of Copenhagen. Spread far and wide, the Slovakia players.
There's a number of them playing in their own country, Rob, but there are plenty out on the continent.
Yeah. You feel with some countries they're looked on as good pros. No matter how good they are, they're always seen as solid, reliable pros. And you think Czech, Slovak players,
the Balkans,
much like that. Yeah.
You don't get a problem with aggression and toughness.
No. Ball given away that time. And Stevens has to backtrack. That's a good cross in. Chance here. Well, it was just a little high for Schrantz. Wales have got a free kick anyway, but they were caught by the ball over the top on that left-hand side. Schrantz got his head to it, and then there was a foul on De Silva by Kutska.
I think it's Haraslin with the ball, do like that though, Rob. Open his legs, and you're expecting him to cut back and, you know, take his time and bring other people. No second thoughts.
Broadhead through to Moore. Chance for keeper Moore. Was he shoved over? Referee sees nothing wrong with it as he went into the penalty area. It was pretty uncompromising by Vavro. Should he have been stronger then, Nathan Blake?
No, I'd like to see that again, to be honest with you. I think he puts enough of a shoulder in it. But,
you wanted that to be Brennan Johnson, didn't you?
well, I think, you know, yeah, fleet-footedness would have got you there, but it's not like Kiefer's taking a dive there. Just wondering if he's coming the back of him rather than a shoulder-to-shoulder.
Got away with it, though. And still 0-0. We played 23 minutes here on BBC Radio Wales. Wales' final game of this season. It's been a long season, hasn't it? We hoped it would go into the Euros, but there we are. And then a dummy. Don't think they meant that. A chance here, and the shot is blocked. It fell to Duda in the penalty area. It was one misplaced pass, but it worked out for Slovakia because Lobotka followed in. And in the end, Cabango had to be strong in the tackle, sorry, it was Ampadu on the block on Duda.
I just need to be careful of Stevens is getting a little isolated on this on Wales's right, Slovakia's left-hand side.
Duda with the corner, takes it short, gets it back, floats it in, right foot in from the left-hand side, and it's a goal. Oh wait, there's a flag up, is there?
I'll be surprised.
There is a flag up, and Wales are reprieved.
No VAR. It's a great header. Surprised if he was offside.
I think he was.
1 foot, yeah.
He was 1 foot.
Brilliant header though. Great direction on it.
Let's go.
Good power on it.
Denied, and Wales have got away with one there. Although offside is offside. So one thing I don't argue about, even with VAR, it's offside whether you're a centimetre or a foot offside.
Centimetre's a little harsh, don't you?
But it's not subjective, is it? It's, you know, it's the line, provided the lines are correct. Now you can argue about the technology, but you're not biting on this one, are you?
No, I'm a striker. No.
Okay, all right.
Trying to get rid of goals?
Just saying, I don't particularly like VAR, but the one thing you can't argue about with VAR is offside. Anyway, it's 0-0 in Slovakia, in Trnava, which is known as Little Rome. It's 30 miles from Bratislava, which is the only capital which has two borders either side, Austria and Hungary. There you go. Daniel James into Broadhead, centre field, inside the Slovakia half. Johnson wide on the right-hand side, brings in Stevens. Now this is Jordan James. Goes square to Sheehan, lets it run past his body, and brings in Ampadu, but they go back instead of forward. Cabango just inside his own half, floats her out to the right-hand side. Poor ball looking for Brennan Johnson, out for a throw-in. They should have gone forward then, shouldn't they, Nathan Blake?
They should have. At times it's just guilty of being a bit too safe at the moment, Wales.
A couple of drummers in the City Arena, as it's called. Not exactly Cozy Powell, is it? The Ginger Baker, but there we go. Do you remember Cozy Powell? Dance of the Devil, wasn't it? Was that Dance of the... Hunty will know. Ian Hubb will know at half-time.
Showing your age there, mate.
I think he did quite well with it, if I remember rightly. You know,
was
I like
it?
Cozy Powell, the drummer.
No, Colin Powell, but Cozy Powell.
Ian Hunt is furiously looking it up on Google now. Cozy Powell. I think it was Dance of the Devil. He'll give us the nod at half-time, I'm sure. It's 0-0 anyway, 27 minutes gone. Not that we're distracted or anything, but it is goalless on Radio Wales Sport. As Broadhead, who's yet to really figure in the game. Not sure that's his favoured position, if I'm honest, but there we are, where he is in midfield. And Slovakia tried to build, but that's a Stab away by Cabango, breaks to Brennan Johnson. Can he get past his man? No, he can't. In fact, he fouls Lobotka.
Good player, Lobotka.
He is a good player.
Really good player. Reads play so well, intercepts so many balls.
He does the dirty stuff really well,
and then he keeps the ball really well, keeps things ticking.
He was, as I said, part of that brilliant Napoli side that won Serie A, not last season, the season before. As a header this time wide from Bozanic. He is a threat in the air.
Well, he should score, Rob. If he's a threat in the air. Don't think his technique was the best there. Yeah. He's made the run to the knee post, just stopped, just checked. Ball's gone over Cabango, he's got to be expecting it. I have to say it's a poor header in the end. He's got to really punch that with his neck muscles and just think middle of the ball. Worst case scenario, it's got to be on target.
Looking at them, they look efficient, don't they, Slovakia?
They look efficient and they look, you know,
quite
large, quite powerful, strong in their running. There's no one really super quick.
Really good defending by De Silva then. Oh, and then Ampadu tried to play the ball away, knocked Sheehan on the back of the heel. It's been a bit like that for Wales. One or two you can see have been out of training as Slovakia break into the box. The fair play to Brennan Johnson, gets the ball out for a corner before Hansko can cause problems. It's another Slovakia corner. Good defending that by the Tottenham player. Looks very studious, Francesco Calzona, the Italian in charge of Slovakia. There's his bald head and his glasses. Corner, left-hand side to Slovakia, headed out by Cabango. It's coming back towards the Wales 6-yard box. Really good interception that time by Josh Sheehan.
Yeah, brilliant defending by Sheehan. Would have been quite easy for him to just switch off. He's gone with a run to the far post. He knows the danger is there.
Hansko was bursting in then with the goal at his mercy.
Excellent clearance.
Was. Another corner for Slovakia, their fourth. We've played half an hour, it's goalless in Trnava. As again, Cabango gets the ball away now. Can Johnson lead a counter-attack? He's quick. But Slovakia get the ball back to Dubravka. And he hammers it forward all the way to Danny Ward at the other end. No mess in there. 0-0. Do you like Wales playing with a 4, Nathan, or would you rather 3 centre-backs and 2 wing-backs, given the remembering that they're missing so many players?
I always believe you've got to play more than one system, Rob, or you've got to have more than one system in your locker, but I think Wales are at their best when they with a back 5, with the wing-backs moving into midfield to make up a 5. So start with a back 5 that goes into a back 3, push your 2 wing-backs on. I've always preferred that. I think that's the system they were most successful at under Chrissy Coleman.
Yeah, no Ben Davis tonight. He's there. I think Chris Mepham has also travelled, but neither are fit enough to play. No Aaron Ramsey, no Connor Roberts, David Brooks, Harry Wilson. I mean, they're significant. Nico Williams, they're significant players to be missing.
I think when you play with, like, where Broadhead is playing in that 10 position, where we've seen Cowell play, you've got to have a lot of the ball, you know, otherwise you tend to just drift in games for long periods. And I think Nathan is either better being up in a 2, or if you're not going to play him down the middle, then play him on the left or the right of a 3. I understand you've got Dan James there.
You have to remember as well, of course, he was with an Ipswich side who had plenty of the ball in their promotion season.
And they played that high tempo as well.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So he's got energy to burn.
Good work by Kiefer Moore. Finds the aforementioned Broadhead. He goes tumbling, no foul. Going to be a bit stronger on the ball, I think. And then the ball is chipped out to the right-hand side. And Pekarik, one of the survivors from Euro 2016's opener in Bordeaux, keeps it in on that far side. It's goalless, 33 minutes gone on BBC Radio Wales Sport. Sunday night international football on the home of Welsh Sport. And Cabango has it in front of his own penalty area. This is Ampadu. You know the great thing about Slovakia, Nate? You're going to like this. You can have 2 birthdays, apparently. Every day has 1 or 2 names assigned, so you're going to have your birthday twice. How about that? Don't ask me how, but it's the way it is. Lovely play by Dan James, left-hand side to Broadhead. Goes past his marker. James picks it up at the byline. Looks to cross, gets his cross blocked, but wins Wales their first corner.
It's brilliant play by Dan James. In behind. Lovely little turn. Defender's expecting him to cross it with his left foot. This little turn turns him inside out, to be honest with you.
It's good link-up play by Broadhead then as well.
Yeah.
Fair play to him.
In fairness to Slovakia, getting bodies in front of any shots.
Sheehan corner from the left-hand side for Wales. Going to take it right foot. He's got Kiefer Moore to aim for. It's gone deep. Ben Cabango heads it up in the air. Well, he was going backwards and he just headed it out.
Yeah, I thought that was something that Wales were pretty weak on against Gibraltar. You know, the level of competition. You'd think Wales would have had all sorts of ideas from set pieces. I thought they were just so straightforward in what they'd done, Wales. It's a real lack of imagination.
Yeah. What they are looking at is a goalkeeping coach full-time. And goalkeeper is one of the positions that gives them a big problem because none of our goalkeepers actually play very much for their clubs. Adam Davis, Sheffield United, relegated, hardly played, 1 League Cup appearance. Tom King hasn't played for Wolves.
And Danny played only twice last year.
Danny Ward,
Premier League 2.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a big problem.
Well, it's a huge problem if you're coming into international football.
It's another nice ball by De Silva down that left-hand side, and he's taken out again. And Peter Pekarik, the second highest cap holder with 127 caps tonight, has got his hands full with Dan James.
I think most fullbacks have, Rob.
And he is 37, so he's not going to catch him at pace,
no,
is
really.
he? I mean, 37 is not age.
Well, that's what you're calling on the person in front of you to come and double up.
Yeah. I was giving him a yard, boss.
Yeah, I'm full.
Wales free kick from the left-hand side. Sheehan, the Slovakia wall is just in the penalty area. Kiefer Moore header pushed over the top by Dubravka. That was headed for the top corner.
Yeah, that was it's just a straightforward ball in. Kiefer Moore, you would expect to be at the back of that line, gets to the front, and the ball just drops on his head. Great effort.
Scored in this stadium, did Kiefer Moore on the last visit in 2019. 1-1 draw, Sheehan again. It's a deep one again. Now, can Cabango get it back across? He can! And it was heading, I'm not sure it was heading in, but it was heading towards that area by Moore once more. And Wales have got another corner, this time from the right-hand side. That was better. That time it worked, didn't it, the deep corner? See what Moore was trying to do, he's laying on for Brennan Johnson, but he was beaten to it. So Sheehan trots across from left to right to take this right-sided corner. This is Wales' best spell. 7 minutes before half-time, 0-0 on Radio Wales Sports. Sheehan takes the corner, and it was Ampadu going up that time, but he shoved his marker, is actually his opposite number, Skriniar, and it's out for a Wales Slovakia free kick. But that was better, Nathan Blake.
Yeah, Skriniar just got ahead of Ampadu in that. He's attacked the ball well. Wasn't much of a foul, but just where he's anticipating the ball falling on his own head, he's got his left arm out to protect him, and in the end, the referee gives a foul away.
That was nicely worked out of defence by Slovakia down their left-hand side, and sent Hansko scurrying forward, but Cabango dealt with it. Much better than Thursday, isn't it, this?
You just took the words out of my mouth.
Oh, there we are. Sorry about that. I'll give them back to you on him.
Much better than Thursday, wasn't it, Rob?
Do you know, I was just thinking that myself.
Were you?
Yeah. Nathan Blake and myself. For once on the same wavelength. This will never last. Good job it's the end of the season.
Yeah, good job. No, but we said it'd probably be an improved performance. Right, Rob? So many factors are going into these two games.
Yeah, it's 0-0. Still love a goal, Rob Page. As I say, I don't sense any appetite from the FA of Wales to sack him, no matter what the fans say. But I keep making the point: the councillors live among the fans, and they have the ultimate say. Good interception by Stevens that time. Sends Johnson down the right-hand side. Much better spell for Wales heading towards half-time. Johnson into Broadhead. Lovely ball. Broadhead in the penalty area. Thinks about shooting. Should have shot. Nothing on now. Gives it to Johnson. Johnson gets to the byline and scoops it over. Why didn't Nathan Broadhead shoot?
I haven't got a clue. I thought he would have seen Brennan Johnson in that position earlier, thinking he should have shot, and then he's got into a better position and probably had two opportunities to shoot, but turned them both down. Really disappointing. Oh, go, just put your laces through it. Yeah, just hit the target, cross the keeper.
Should have scored.
I guarantee if he was an Ipswich shot,
he would have had a bang at least. Yeah.
He's just having that confidence to be able to do it in a red shirt. He has scored, of course, but
well, Wales in the last 5 minutes or so have had their best spell of this game, better than anything they had against Gibraltar, it has to be said. And it's been about the pace they've got and the aerial threat in Kiefer Moore. Interesting to see if Rob Page makes changes early in the second half. Lewis Kumas did his reputation no harm with his sub-appearance against Gibraltar. Here comes Slovakia. You want Wales to hold on. They've got men in the box. It's going to come in now from Pekarik, but cleared away by Sheehan. Good cross again. And Stevens, he wasn't sure what to do. It bounced past him. Just got a touch on that. And again, Brennan Johnson, fair play to him. Defensively, he's been right on it tonight. And he even clears the ball away up to Kiefer Moore. Really good clearance. Can Moore hold on to it? He can against two Slovakia players. Then he gives the ball away and Jordan James has to slide in and does ever so well to bang it against the shins of Bozanic, and it balloons out for a goal kick.
That was a very important tackle there by Jordan James, Rob. If he doesn't make that, the striker's away. He can just turn out straight at goal. And Wales were at 6s and 7s, really, positionally.
They were. There's a Lanchester flag behind Danny Ward. As Kiefer Moore is definitely fouled that time. Now that Skriniar fancies him. Arms right around his waist.
Oh, he's playing with the wrong shaped ball. He should be playing rugby with that tackle.
Absolutely. Some big tackles in the Rugby League Challenge Cup final yesterday. Wow. Wigan won it again. As Josh Sheehan sizes up a free kick. The good thing about having Kiefer Moore is that they can knock it up to the box. He's got players around it. At the moment, he's offside, Kiefer Moore. So you wonder whether it'll be swung out. De Silva's there as well. He swings it out to the right-hand side. And I think it was Jordan James was fouling, which is really disappointing when there's no point.
Yeah, when there's two of you like that, I'd just like to see one of you touch it to the other, or a little square pass just to change the angle a bit. Just improves your chances of quality.
0-0, a minute and a half to go. I don't think we've had a stoppage, have we?
Nope. As far as I can remember.
So, unless the referee has seen any time wasting, so it doesn't appear to have been. Here comes Slovakia, looking to make the breakthrough before the break. Got the ball outside the Wales penalty area, and did it take a deflection? It may have, but it's gone in. It's Kutska who shoots from distance, and Wales have been breached. A fierce drive. It seemed to take a deflection off somewhere, and it's Slovakia 1, Wales 0.
Yeah, I'm a bit stunned at that, Rob. Watch this replay now to see if it does take a deflection. No, Danny Ward is unsided, but to say I don't think he should be getting beat like that from that distance, practically in the middle of his goal.
Well, I
surely can see the player lining up for the shot as well. It's not like it's trickled in or stuck into the bottom corner.
Well, Kutska gets his 14th goal, scored against Wales in 2019 here in this stadium, and has given the Euro 2024 bound team the lead on the stroke of half-time. Juraj Kutska, on his 107th appearance for his country, started against Wales in 2016, makes all the difference. It seemed to go through between two Wales defenders from distance. You do wonder where Danny Ward was for that shot, but Wales's good work is undone on the stroke of the break at half-time. It's Slovakia 1, Wales 0.
Well, that's got them going, isn't it, in the stadium there, with the PA announcer getting the crowd up. They're 1-0 in front, the home team, ahead of their trip to the Euros. Heading to Germany after this, of course. Wales now facing their final 45 minutes before a summer break. And it has, as we often say, Nathan Blake, in these situations, changed the nature of Rob Page's half-time team talk. Danny Ward is the only survivor from the Euro 2016 win over Slovakia in France, interestingly, but was he at fault for that goal? Was he too far across one side of his goal? Well, as you said, it went down the centre almost.
No, well, he was just right of centre, and the ball went just left of centre. So I think he'd be extremely disappointed if you're a defender or a player out there for Wales. You'd look at that and you're entitled to think my keeper will do better. Worst case scenario, he pushes it around the corner around the post for a corner, but to get through to the 45th minute and concede a goal like that, it's really disappointing.
It is, and it's an area of concern, as we talked about, isn't it? The goalkeeping position, the lack of depth there. It's certainly something that Rob Page will want to address going forward, but how you do that is another thing.
Well, you can't make players play for their teams, right?
No, exactly.
That's the problem Rob mentioned earlier.
Overall, how do you feel it's going? You talked after Thursday and the embarrassment of the draw against Gibraltar about wanting to see more of a style, a structure, a way of playing? Do you feel that that is there tonight?
Yeah, it has been better. You know, I expected it to be better because you're playing against, sounds strange, but you're playing against a tougher opponent, you know, and you expect Wales to up their game as well. Plus, they've got as many of their big heads in the team as they can. But I always felt there were factors around the Gibraltar game, you know. Whereas I thought if, you know, Wales didn't match up today, then they could easily get beat 3 or 4. But they've got a decent account of themselves. I would say though, disappointed in, you know, Broadhead there towards the end of the first half. He had a great opportunity to go and put his foot through the ball and just turned it down. And you know, Wales have had 2 or 3 chances, but I would say that's probably the best of the lot. And it was disappointing, like I said, to see Nathan Broadhead turn the shot down.
Well, it does feel like more of a proper game, doesn't it? A tight qualifying tie rather than a meandering, meaningless friendly, which is what Thursday felt at times. Thanks very much for the moment. Cozy Powell, by the way, yeah, Dance with the Devil, correct. He was an English drummer who performed with many major rock bands. And what was the link with Slovakia, by the way? What was the...
Sorry, it was just a couple of drummers in the crowd. There's no real link. I mean, it was 0-0 at the time. Not much was happening.
Fair enough. There we go. Pleased to be of service. Right, so we'll be back with second half commentary then. Rob and his drumming references and Nathan Blake here on Radio Wales and BBC Sounds. Shortly, we'll see if Wales can find a bit of a spark, a bit more something in front of goal maybe to try and test the goalkeeper and get on the score sheet at least this evening for the benefit of the fans who travel out there to Slovakia. It is a night off for Frank Hennessy and Celtic Heartbeats here on Radio Wales, but Beverly's World of Music is along at 10 o'clock as usual tonight after us. So there will be a bit of time afterwards if you want to give us your thoughts on the game tonight and the performance, whether you think it's better overall than what you saw on Thursday. I think certainly has been so far, hasn't it? So just get in touch on social media at BBC Radio Wales or get in touch with me direct on X and share your thoughts on what you've seen tonight. Other news then, there are other friendlies going on as other teams warm up for the Euros. Italy are leading Bosnia-Herzegovina at 1-0. Goalless between France and Canada at the moment. Montenegro, who are in Wales's Nations League group later this year, are 2-0 down at home to Georgia. In terms of other football news, the Wrexham co-owner Rob McElhenney has, maybe slightly tongue-in-cheek, not given up on signing Gareth Bale, the Wales legend, of course, saying that the offer is still on the table. He has previously tried to coax the former Wales and Real Madrid star out of retirement via social media. He was speaking after throwing the opening pitch at London Stadium, where the Philadelphia Phillies were playing the New York Mets in Major League Baseball. And McElhenney said that Wrexham have got a very good chance, meanwhile, of signing the goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo this summer. He was on loan from Arsenal last season, but left the Premier League club this summer. McElhenney saying that they're in talks to get the goalkeeper back on a permanent basis. In rugby, and a bit of good news for Wales ahead of their game against South Africa at Twickenham in a couple of weeks. Springboks captain Sia Khaleesi is one of 12 players who won the Rugby World Cup last year who won't be considered for this match. Just 11 of the side that beat New Zealand last year will be available after injuries, club commitments and retirement ruled out the other 12. South Africa Rugby say that players based in Europe, the UK and Ireland will not be considered for the Box First test this summer against Wales. Of course, Warren Gatland has selected a young squad for the game and he's without some key players, with several players outside Wales unavailable, the match falling outside the official test window. Meanwhile, in the Premiership Women's Rugby Playoff semi-finals, Bristol Bears women have made their first final after beating Saracens. They will face the defending champions Gloucester Hartpury on Saturday the 22nd of June. Wales' Llaki George was player of the match for Gloucester Hartpury, scoring 2 tries, while the Wales captain Hannah Jones and prop Cecilia Tuipulotu were also on the score sheet, and Courtney Keats scored for Bristol, while Llaki George was player of the match, as we said. In the T20 Cricket World Cup, Pakistan chasing 120 to beat India in New York. They need 17 runs as it stands, and Scotland need 35 to beat Oman. England's T20 defence, meanwhile, if you were watching yesterday, already in danger after a 36-run defeat by Australia, and more questions being asked of the direction of England's white ball side under the coach Matthew Mott and the captain Jos Buttler.
I thought we were outplayed today by Australia. I thought they played really well in the power play, put us under a lot of pressure straight away. We thought we fought well, but I thought they bowled really well to the conditions. I think obviously it's quite extreme, this short side and the wind, but I thought they bowled really well and made it tough for us in those middle overs to keep the momentum.
In the French Open tennis, Carlos Alcaraz has won his third Grand Slam after beating Alexander Zverev in the French Open final, 3-1. The 21-year-old Spaniard becoming the youngest man to win Grand Slam titles on all three surfaces after adding to his US Open and Wimbledon titles. In the cycling Women's Tour of Britain, Stage 4 in Greater Manchester, Lotte Kopecky won the Women's Tour of Britain after leading the race from the first stage, while Wales's Eleanor Barker finished 8th in Stage 4 today and 11th overall. Eleanor Backstedt finished 23rd. In the darts, Gerwyn Price says he will push on with more confidence after winning the Nordic Darts Masters. That was in Copenhagen last night. He beat Rod Cross to win his first tournament since June 2023. And in the netball, Cardiff Dragons lost 51-43 to Leeds Rhinos in the Super League. The Dragons were playing in the Utilita Arena in Cardiff for the first time, and they're going to be back there next weekend for their final game of the season against Team Bath. Right, let's go back to Narva then, and the City Arena, where it is Slovakia leading Wales by 1-0. Their final match before Euro 2024. Wales heading for the beaches after the conclusion of this game. 45 minutes left to play, but I wonder how the fans are feeling, what the mood is like among the Red Wallers in the stadium. David Pritchard, our pitchside reporter. Well, it was looking pretty good for Wales up to that point where Slovakia scored, Dav. What happened then?
Well, yeah, the Red Wall had been making all the noise because we'd been told to expect close to a sellout crowd here in Trnava. But actually, it's quite a patchy crowd here in Slovakia, and the home fans have been rather quiet. It's as if they need reminding that they're off to the Euros after this game. It's been the Wales fans making all the noise, and I know they set an extraordinarily low bar with that Gibraltar game, but things had been much better for the team of the game, and the Wales fans were seemingly pleased with what they'd seen, and that goal just half time has rather punctured the mood among the Wales fans, but they're having a good time, and regardless, the big surprise is that the party atmosphere that we were told to expect here hasn't really materialised.
Yes, and clearly some sort of little Wi-Fi dropouts, I think, in that stadium as well, as you can tell from that connection too.
The Wi-Fi, aren't they?
Yes, can't have too many people on the Wi-Fi at once.
Yeah, quite.
Obviously.
He's right, though.
Yeah.
We've been saying here, haven't we, that it's not been the atmosphere you'd expect of a send-off. I mean, I remember being in Chaves when Portugal were heading for the Euros. I forget what year it was, under Mark Hughes, and it wasn't a big stadium, not too dissimilar to this. And honestly, the sort of noise that the Portuguese were making, and they really built it up before kickoff, because I remember saying to Mark Hughes, never mind the bands that we used to get at the National Stadium, let's have this sort of thing. And now, of course, Wales do it all the time. We're just looking at the goal again. Where was Danny Ward?
That was the point I was making to Nathan Blake. He just seemed, just looking at the replays, he just seemed too far across to his left.
He did. to
really get at that shot, and big wide space for that goal to sort of to go in. I was just going to talk about Brennan Johnson, Rob, to Nathan, because you made the point, I think, in commentary there that he hasn't really done an awful lot really in a Wales shirt, bar the odd moment where you've gone, oh, that was impressive. But overall, he's long been touted as the next Gareth Bale. I'm not endorsing that, because clearly Bale was a one-off and maybe we won't see his likes again. But in terms of a talismanic presence in this Wales team, people have said it would be Brennan Johnson, and his time surely is now. Now is the time for him if he's going to be that player.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, actually. I think I agree with you. I mean, you should say he is still only 23, and this is his 28th cap.
Not that young, though, is he?
No, but what you'd also say is that he's had plenty of chances to impress, and he's got 3 goals. He's a striker judged on goals. I'm sure he will blossom. Have we found his right position? I mean, he seems to play for Wales the same as he plays at Tottenham, in the same position. But it's I mean, you have to say, when Lewis Kumas went on Thursday, he made more of an impact, prepared to shoot or whatever. I mean, it was inexplicable that Nathan Broadhead didn't shoot, so you can't blame Brennan Johnson for that. But I do think he does owe Wales a goal or two, because, you know, you can't replace Gareth Bale, but he was the next big thing to come through, and he will be, I'm sure, because, you know, Tottenham, as a rule, don't buy duds, do they? So it's going to be interesting to see how he develops, Nathan, Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, it will be. I think it can be hit or miss for him at the moment. He's just not in, you know, the greatest of form for Wales, and that's been the case for probably the last 6 or 8, maybe 12 months. So needs a goal for me. Needs a goal, good performance.
Will he blossom into a big star, do you think? We've kind of seen it with Harry Wilson, haven't we? Harry Wilson's finally become a big player for Wales.
I think the problem is you know, is trying to follow Gareth Bale. I mean, you know, you just can't mention, you know, Gareth Bale in the same sort of sentence as these players. You know, you're talking about a totally different entity. So, you know, I think a bit of pressure comes on him through that as well. But yeah, I think you just got to give these players time. I think Daniel James took, you know, hit the ground running and then went off the ball and has come back a bit. And like you said, Harry Wilson, you know, a lot of promise, but now you would say he's a well-established Welsh player. So, you know, this is probably the transition period Rob keeps talking about. But when in transition, you still need to get results. You still need to score goals. And, you know, you've got to qualify, you know, with the opportunities we've had to get into the Euros this time round. But you're going to get, you know, one or two sort of passes, but, you know, pressure is building, and we do need these players to step up.
I think what you would say is that if you look at what Jordan James has done, admittedly not under the pressure to score goals, but he stepped in at a relatively, well, very young age. He's only 19. But he has almost made that position his own in the Wales midfield, and I don't think Brennan Johnson can yet say that position is mine, especially when you look at the way Harry Wilson sort of blossomed last season, scored important goals for Wales. You know, Dan James, I think, is effective down the left side. I think he's been decent tonight, Dan James as well, without really having the chance to score a goal, but his pace causes problems. And you look at David Brooks as well, and you think, well, would Brennan Johnson get in ahead of Harry Wilson or David Brooks at the moment? I'm not sure he would.
No, I don't think he would.
No.
To be honest with you.
All right, well, give you 20 seconds to gather your thoughts and get set for the second half. The teams are gathering back in the tunnel. Again, huge area of space there. Not so much a tunnel as just almost like a size of a conference room there in Tanarva there. Glass doors for them to come back out onto the field. And Wales were first to congregate. Here comes Slovakia now in their all-blue kit, ready for the Euros, heading off now. The lucky things to enjoy another European adventure, their third European Championship. They start against Belgium a week tomorrow, whereas this is the end of the line as far as this long season's concerned for Wales, and so many ups and downs that has brought for the men in red. Shots of the fans as well in various Wales replica kits from down the years, and white bucket hats, the yellow bucket hats, all sorts of stuff, having a pint of lager or beer or wherever it is, sat there in the stand as Danny Ward regathers himself back in goal after that, well, possibly a mistake. Certainly think it might have been a mistake on his part. We'll hear from Rob Page later on. We'll bring you reaction as well on air until 10 o'clock. But the teams are back out now onto the field, so let's rejoin Nathan Blake and Rob Phillips here on Radio Wales and BBC Sounds.
Just looking, Danny Ward hasn't played a club game for 15 months. He played 8 games this season, all for Wales.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it?
And you do wonder whether a goalkeeper on his mettle, on his game, regularly playing, would have got that. Yeah. So Wales trailing 1-0. Rob Page looking for a result. The performance was much better, you have to say, if you're looking at it logically, and it's fair to say the Red Wall haven't given up, because I can hear them chanting Wales, Wales. Wales playing from right to left, no changes from either side as Ampadu floats the ball forward. So I'll give you the teams now. In goal for Wales are Danny Ward, across the back Finn Stevens, Ben Cabango, Ethan Ampadu, Jay Da Silva, Midfield, Nathan Broadhead, Jordan James, Josh Sheehan and Daniel James. And then up front, Kiefer Moore and Brennan Johnson. Moore went closest to scoring. As Slovakia get the ball with Haraslin, cuts into the penalty area. Cabango, I think, has done a good job as a stopper tonight. I agree
with you. He's made a few of them really, difficult clearances. He's in the right place at the right time, cut with his right foot, with his left foot.
Was some thought that his brother might be in the Wales rugby squad to go to Australia this summer, but I don't think he made it in the end.
It's unfortunate. Two brothers internationals.
Plays great. Blues, doesn't he? I think his brother. And Slovakia have Dubravka in goal, Pekarik, Vavro, Skriniar and Hansko at the back. Kutska, Lobotka and Duda. Kutska was the goal scorer. Schranz, Bozanic and Haraslin are the front line. The referee is from Poland, Daniel Stefanski. Been on the FIFA list since 2013. His assistants are Polish as well, David Golis and Jakub Winkler. And the fourth official is Slovakian, Peter Kralovic, but there's not much for a fourth official to do in a friendly. There's no VAR. And it's 1-0 Slovakia. Who've only beaten Wales once.
Just looking at that moment there, and listen, I know it's early in the game, you want to keep the ball, but Brennan Johnson's up against Lobotka. He must think I can do him for pace. When the ball's coming to you, but when you look, you see a midfielder who's not blessed with pace up against you. Your first thought is, or should be, I'm just gonna
run him.
Yeah, run him.
This is James. And falls to the ground, goes to the ground again, no foul.
I mean, my point is, Rob, you can still keep the ball, but you're 30, 40, 50 yards higher up the pitch when you're turning out.
Yeah, I think he's still learning the game, isn't he, Brennan Johnson, you would say. He's by no means the finished article. As Stevens is sort of exposed again. It wasn't the best ball forward, but Sheehan has no option but to clamber the ball away for a Slovakia corner. They are dangerous down their left-hand side. Finn Stevens has been a lot busier in his third cap than Jay De Silva in his second.
I think Brennan's done well for Wales if you're looking overall, but I just don't think he's, at the moment, I don't think he's as confident as he's been or when he first came into the team.
Corner comes in from the Slovakia left. Ward got there, punched it up, went up upwards rather than too far away, but the return header from Bozanic is collected by the Wales keeper. Throws it, a throw-in style over his head to find De Silva. Now Wales have possession. Jordan James had his arms up in the air. I want that ball. And this is Johnson on halfway, but he decides not to take on his marker for pace. Goes back instead. Good play by Ampadu, but Broadhead tried to turn, but has the ball nicked off him, and it may be costly. Slovakia into the penalty area. Ampadu steps in. It was Haraslin who got there again, had a shooting chance actually. Cabango has to concede the corner.
Yeah, just come from Wales playing that ball into midfield a couple of times into Sheehan. Just don't think there's enough rotation and movement in that midfield at the moment. They try and get some angles, some triangles to play off. It's a poor touch granted by Broadhead, but Didn't have many options.
Corner from the left-hand side, swung in. Oh, and I don't know whether Kiefer Moore knew much about that header, but it's gone over the top. Came off his shoulder, I think. One 0 Slovakia. Another corner, swung in. Ward. Ball hits the bar. Well, he was on the deck, Danny Ward, but I don't think he's... Didn't hear the whistle go. And he was very grateful the ball bounced back into his arms. A tough night, Danny Ward, at the moment. Who did, of course, face Slovakia in 2016. Wayne Hennessy had back spasm that day in the opener. Again, Cabango has to step in as Wales give the ball away in midfield. Jordan James out to Brennan Johnson, finds James again. He goes down the right-hand side. Lobotka there again. He's like a rash, isn't he?
Yeah.
Pops up in the most unexpected places.
Yeah, good play again though by Jordan James. No, doesn't turn down the opportunity. He just tries to play it around him and get the other side. If it comes off, he's in a great attacking position.
It's not quite working that midfield, is it?
No, it's difficult. That number 10 role is...
I don't think Broadhead's great with his back to having to turn. Might be better chasing the ball forward, but they can't find him with that. He made the run in the inside left position. Cut out, Lobotka has it. Back to Skriniar. Slovakia looking to head off to the Euros with a win under their belts.
I do think when you're playing that 10 role and you're not playing as a striker, it is a specialist. It becomes a specialist. That's when you're a number 10, an Aaron Ramsey or someone like that. You know, these players just pass, move continuously. It's Nathan, you get the feeling that you can see he's a forward playing in that position.
Page and Allen nil. I want to chat on the side. I'm sure he's thinking about a change now.
He's probably thinking about Colwell in that position.
Yeah. Here's Broadhead, a ball to run onto. Now what can he do here? He's still going, heads towards the penalty area, just stumbles as he gets to the vital penalty box.
He's got to let the shot go.
Finn Stevens plays Ben Cabango into a bit of trouble, and he's shrugged off by Haraslin, who's strong down that left-hand side. Stevens is on the cover. Haraslin into the penalty area. Josh Sheehan there to cut out the crossfield ball. Now Johnson. Now he's up against Lobotka. Just run him. Finds Broadhead with a bit of space in the centre circle. Wide to James. Slovakia get the blue shirts back quickly. Wales all in red. James turns. Gets it back from De Silva. It's a bit tight on this near touchline. And Pekarik is penalised for a foul.
He's not letting Dan James turn there. No way. No matter what. You bring him down first.
Here's James again. Pekarik in quickly. And the ball ricochets to Lobotka in midfield. James tries to win it back. Skriniar. Hansco. Combines well with Haraslin down that left-hand side. And they bring it out with Vavro of Copenhagen. They're doubling up against Finn Stevens. And again, Cabango is there at the right moment to rob Haraslin.
Yeah, they were doing it first half, Rob. If they get Joy, you get the feeling it's going to come down that left-hand side.
Yeah. And they tried to build again, but Jordan James thwarts that at the cost of the throw-in. Almost level with the Slovakia penalty area. Somebody's enjoying a nice roll in the crowd.
Say,
yeah, was that ham sandwich, you reckon?
Yeah, still alive, I think, as well.
Crossing, oh, and there was hesitancy, and it's 2-0 in at the near post. It was a low ball in, and Bozanic goes across to Hansko to thank him for the delivery. Where was the Wales defence? It's Slovakia 2, Wales 0. Bozanic gets his 7th goal for his country.
It's actually great movement, great ball in from the left-hand side. And Bozanic, like I said, movement, across the defender, across the near post, just opens up his right foot, a lovely, delicate finish. It was Danny Ward with no chance, but yeah, looking, we just said a moment ago, if anything, if a goal comes, it's going to come from that left-hand side. And Wales not able to sew it up. Been warned, there's been several warnings, both first half and second half. I feel a little for Stevens because he's been isolated. And on that occasion, just a really good ball in, and like I said, a great run by the striker.
And it's a long way back for Wales now. Looking pretty good up to about 44 minutes, then they concede on the stroke of half-time, and they concede just 12 minutes into the second half. Kiefer Moore, total miscue as he tried to find Dan James. And it's a free kick against Kiefer Moore. A couple of changes in the offing for Wales. One of them is Lewis Kumas, the other is Wes Burns. So they're going to watch this free kick first. It's Duda from Verona who stood over it. It's about 15 yards from the Wales penalty area. Duda takes it, swings it into the box to Silva, the smallest man on the pitch basically, heads the ball away. Now Wales have to get out. Dan James leads the press, but they go all the way back to Dubravka. Who do you think's coming off for Wes Burns and Lewis Kumas? Maybe Broadhead and Stevens, do you think?
Yeah, it could well be. Like I say, I feel a little for Stevens because Brennan Johnson's played on that right, he's playing high up and he's not looking to double up most of the time, especially in the final third. And often Stevens is faced with two players.
Pekarek. They've got real confidence about them now, they're enjoying their send-off. They're getting men forward, are Slovakia. They're looking to inflict only their second defeat on Wales. As shot comes in, it's deflected in. It's turned in again by Bozanic. He smiles, it was the easiest, just a touch from 8 yards, and it's all falling apart now. It's 3-0 to Slovakia, and Bozanic has his second goal of the night. Nathan Blake.
Well, they don't get near enough on the cross, Rob. And then
maybe an Ampadu own goal, actually.
Harrison with a great technique. Only scissor kick volley. And it's going across the face of the goal. And I'm not sure. I thought it was touched in by the striker on first look, but Wales need to be really careful now because this game could end up running away from them.
Yeah, Burns and Kumas are on.
Plenty of time left on the clock, Rob, as well.
So Bozanek takes his tally to 8 goals for his country, 2 on the night. Moore is fouled. So Lewis Kumas and Wes Burns are on. I saw Brennan Johnson go off as Moore is taken up as he jumped for the ball. I think it may have been Finn Stevens also went off. Sheehan's still on there to take this free kick. Wales need a goal back rapidly. Cross into the box. Goes to Jordan James, who shoots wide from on the half volley from the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, good effort, just not on target. No second thoughts in his mind. Clean strike from James, just like I say, the angle he was at, difficult to get it on target.
So, where does this leave Rob Page, Nathan Blake?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah,
say that.
I was about to say the same thing myself. An uncomfortable summer ahead. I mean, those who are against him after Gibraltar will have even more reason to take again him.
You'd want a bit more from the likes of Sheehan, Brennan Johnson. You know, I think you're entitled to Dan James tonight. Broadhead, I think you're entitled to want a bit more and expect a bit more from those players tonight. I think 3 or 4 players have done all right. Like I say, the situation with Stevens, the goal was definitely going to come from that left-hand side. It's about shoring it up first, making sure you don't concede. But isolated on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
And Wales traditionally back 5, like I said, back 3, back 5, call it what you want, but really difficult to beat. And then they would progress into the game. You know, yes, they had, you know, winners in Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey, Harry Wilson. You know, players are not available tonight, but I just think that's the best formation I've seen Wales play.
Broadhead and Johnson have gone off for Kumas and Burns. Burns is operating wide on the right-hand side, and Lewis Kumas, on his second Wales appearance, the Liverpool rising star, is playing off Kiefer Moore. Burns gets a touch. He's also a Premier League player now, of course. How about Slovakia in their group, Nathan? They've got Belgium, Ukraine and Romania.
Yeah, I would expect them to get out of that group, Rob. I've seen them in Ukraine, no disrespect to Romania.
Yeah, it's their 3rd consecutive Euros. They reached the last 16 in 2016 and the group stages in 2020.
Yeah, we've not seen Romania for quite some time in the championship, so if I was going to pick a 2, then Slovakia would be my second.
Belgium have got a few injuries as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I still fancy them to top the group.
Yeah, you'd think they would. So Burns is sold the dummy on that far side. Then the ball is switched over to the right-hand side. Pekarek picks it up just outside the Wales penalty area. They get men forward really quickly. They look a really well-drilled side, you have to say. Calzona, who actually helped send Maurizio Sarri on his way to management, and he was often assistant to him as well. As the shot comes in, this time it's blocked. This time Stevens anticipates well, finds Burns.
If he doesn't get there though, Rob, he's 2v1.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Burns now up to Kiefer Moore, and he's just offside.
Yeah. You know, sometimes if it's not being resolved from the sideline, then I would expect young James to, Stevens to try and sort it out himself, or at least call upon help, highlight the problem. But really and truly, I mean, we've been saying it for the best part of 30 odd, maybe 40 minutes.
One thing I do wonder about, I understand how beneficial Kiefer Moore is, but I've always thought, you know this, you know what I'm going to say, the way Wales build up, is it not a case of a false nine maybe, if you got Wilson, sort of Kumas and, maybe not Kumas, but Wilson, Brooks, James, is there not a case for trying that? Is Kiefer Moore too much of an obvious one to play up front sometimes? Do you know what I mean?
Well, they haven't really played off him today, have they? They're just not in great form at the moment, I don't think, Wales. We know it's not their first 11, but it's their best 11 to date.
Yeah. Burns is in here, chance. Good save, Dubravka. Jordan James saw him inside right, set up Burns, and Dubravka parried it away at his near post for a Wales corner.
Yeah, the pass was just delayed by Jordan James by a split second. I feel if he can play that a bit earlier, it gives Burns the chance to hit it first time across the keeper, or take a touch and hit it across the keeper.
Sheehan with the corner from the right-hand side. Moore got there. Cleared away to Da Silva outside, left-hand side. Burns has gone across, thinks about playing in right-footed, sets up Dan James. He tries shooting, bounces back to James off Ampadu. Then Da Silva steps in. And it's a bit harem-scarum with Wales. Da Silva has to club it back into his own half. And is that going to go up for a throw-in? No, Danny Ward gets there. I think that would have been a Slovakia throw then. I say, in the friendlies, I'd say Da Silva has done himself most credit. It's not a high bar.
Yeah.
Balls like that down the left-hand side for Kumas, who forces the clearance from Vavro. 68 minutes gone. Radio Wales Sport, Slovakia 3, Wales 0. It's fallen apart either side of half-time for Wales.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed you see problems and don't sort of try to, you haven't really resolved them or look like resolving them.
Yeah. If he loses this one, Rob Page, it'll be 15 wins, 15 draws and 15 defeats. We won't go over this again, but officially this will be their first defeat in 10, because they don't count penalty shootouts. But as you rightly say, Nathan Blake, and I also said before you say anything, we're not in the Euros because Poland won the penalty shootout, but because it wasn't in 90 minutes. In the official record book it goes down as a draw, which is bizarre, but there we are.
I think it's just blah blah blah.
Yeah, you're right. James stopped by Vavro in midfield.
I think the line is, Rob, stats can tell 1,000 lies or 1,000 truths.
Yeah, they can. 21 minutes to go. It'll be some comeback this, as Wales are in danger of a big defeat here in Trnava. Only the second time they will have lost to Slovakia. Their first time was in the first meeting, actually, back in 2006.
5-1 or something like that.
5-1 when...
but then we done them on the return match.
5-2 in Trnava, in this stadium.
Yeah.
Liam Cullen replaces Daniel James. Another cap for the Swansea City player. And a couple of subs for Slovakia. In fact, 3 subs on the way. So Hansko goes, and Adam Ober of Cagliari replaces him. Also going on is Andre Duda. He's replaced by Laszlo Benez of Hamburg, and Suslov is also on. Tomasz Suslov of Verona in Italy. I mean, you notice they all play in top flight clubs in different countries. There's no sort of championship level player in this Slovakia side. And at the moment they're too good for Wales. They're winning by 3-0. Kutska's got one of them, and there are 2 for Robert Bozanic. And this is going to be a painful defeat for Rob Page. They've actually been better than they were on Thursday, but again, that wasn't a high bar. It's hard work. Oh, it's an underhit back pass. Actually, I don't think he even touched it, Amadou. Amadou, midfield or defence, Nathan? Have you seen anything?
Love him in both, Rob, but
yeah.
I think the partnership with him and James in that central midfield is really important for Wales. They just, you know, if Aaron's not fit, then they've got options. Brooks, Wilson, all playing in that 10 role. I think when they've got everybody fit, that, you know, here's a good outfit, a good, you know, 15, 16 players. They're missing a few, it becomes a problem though.
Yeah, it is. And as we were saying on Thursday night on Radio Wales Sport, Wales have never really had the depth other countries have had.
No.
You cover up for that depth when you got Bale and Ramsey in their prime.
Yeah, and it's I know what Rob is saying, and you know, trying to get players caps and whatever and experience.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to be brutally honest. Are those players ever going to play up to the level that you need them to play up to?
Yeah. I tend to think these friendlies are almost sort of, I won't say players have lost their place because of it, but you've got to say Rabi Matondo, Josh Sheehan.
Yeah, you'd like to see a bit more from those players.
Yeah, exactly.
Ruben, I think Ruben needs to get his skates on. I really do. I think he's a wonderful talent. I'm hoping he comes good for Cardiff City this season and really, I mean, you know,
dominates.
Dominates games. You know, like you see, the Vodka is you know, a small little defensive midfielder, but he dominates the game, controls the game.
I think with friendlies, they're a bit like the Saturday in a major of golf. You know, you can't win it then, but you can play yourself out of contention in these sort of games. Poor Finn Stevens is going to know. He's going to be ready for the beach, isn't he? At the end of these 2 games, he's had a busy time. Connor Roberts to come back, of course. Nico Williams as well.
Yeah. Like you say, it's a good 15-16, Rob. Strong squad. But once you get beyond 16-17 players, then no, it is difficult.
It is a problem.
And if you're Rob Page, what do you do? What can you do? You can only call up Welsh people. You can't, you know,
can't sign anybody, as John Toshak used to say.
Exactly.
His favourite one used to be, I pull a duvet up to cover my nose and my feet get cold.
Yeah.
And the goalkeeping situation is one that they just have no control over, and you don't see it getting much better, do you?
No.
Goes out for a throw-in, level with the Wales penalty area. Stevens.
Yeah, for Slovakia now, it's easy, right? You're on easy street, 3-0 up. You know, no pressure at all. Keep the ball, pass it around, confidence high.
Oh, Burns has given the ball straight to Bozanic. Trouble here for Wales. They've got men back though, and they managed to scramble it to Ampadu to clear. That rather sums it up, to be honest. Now De Silva tries to send Kiefer Moore down the left side, but Pekarik, he gets his distances spot on to intervene, and Lobotka plays it across to the far side. Suslov is the substitute.
Game's really stretched now as well.
Probably say Cabango has enhanced his reputation, I think, or rather done himself no harm.
Yeah. I don't think there's been anyone who could point and say, oh, it's a bad performance. There just hasn't been anyone who stood out over the 2 games. You wouldn't say anyone stood out and thought, you haven't thought to yourself, well, he looks like he's put himself really in contention for the next game for the Nations League.
So Vernon DeMarco comes on, and Bozanic, who's got 2 goals tonight, Robert Bozanic, taking his tally to 8, gets the roll of the drum. He makes his way off, ready for the Euros, and he will feel as a striker, Nathan Blake. You're thinking, going into the tournament, having scored 2 goals in the final game before, bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you call strikers' goals as well, Rob. You know, first one, great little run across the near post, opens his foot up, just guides into the net, and the second one, a deflected shot or cross, and then you just tap it in. So
Tupta and DiMarco are on. DiMarco is Argentinian born, moved to Slovakia in 2012 and was naturalized in time to play in 2021. It's a clever devil. He speaks English, German, Polish, Slovakian and Portuguese. I imagine Spanish as well, since he was born in Argentina and played in Spain. As run by Suslov, the substitute, plays it wide on the edge of the Wales penalty area. Wales are backtracking again. It's a difficult night for them now. Benesh got involved there as well. Slovakia hold possession just in front of the Wales penalty area. They're all out to impress, ready for Belgium on a week Monday in Frankfurt. That's when they kick off their Euro 2024 campaign. Slovakia. They may have some famous supporters. Angelina Jolie's granddad is from Slovakia, so she's got a bit of Slovakia. But John Bon Jovi's nan is Slovakian. And
you must have a really, really exciting life, you, Rob.
Well, actually, I was going to tell you, Nathan, they actually love. Oh, hang on, Kiefer Moore runs towards the penalty area and drills the ball, and he's going to get booked.
Well, I thought the defender tried to bring him down there
from behind.
Yeah,
defender's gone down clutching his chin.
Oh, he's just caught. He's actually caught him with the elbow right in the eye.
It's Kutska. Is that a yellow?
Yes. Personally, I don't think so.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't think he can. I think he can sense him coming, but look, he's only got. He's thinking to himself. No, he's not swung his arm at all. It's just his arms are out while he's balancing, ready to. You just caught one. You just caught one in the face. It's not.
It's actually just above his eyebrow, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Kiefer's thrown his arm back at all.
No. We're still having treatment, so it'll add a few minutes. We're into the last 10 minutes. I think you said it, Nathan Blake. I might say at the end, it's going to be a very uncomfortable summer for Rob Page, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Can you understand the people who say he's got to go?
Hey, listen, I can understand every opinion there is, Rob. You're entitled to it. You know, whether I agree with it or not is immaterial. Like I always say, there's no point talking about sacking managers. You know, the people who make the decision, if they make this decision, then you talk about what's coming next. I just look at, like, what I think could be improved upon. I think when you look at it, like we said, is you have a squad of about 16 players, but once you get beyond that, it becomes really difficult. And if, you know, 8 or 9 of your top players are unavailable, then it's difficult to go into the depths to start pulling up, you know, players to play alongside 3 or 4 of your top players and actually get a result.
Well, Kuchka's decided that he's got a Euros to get to, so he's off. And Barrow is coming on for him. Matusz Barrow plays his football in Germany for Bochum. And to be honest, I bet Rob Page can't wait to get home to Sheffield.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought needs to go into the next few months, Rob. Because, you know, as much as we talk about transition,
well, it can't be now, can it? It can't be a transition.
Well, I don't see it as a transition, not now. I think you're now beyond the, you know, the transition with the likes of Jordan James coming in, you know.
Yeah, you've got to hope for Rob Page. As I said, I don't anticipate any action from the FA Worlds. They've been pretty firm that he's there to start the Nations League campaign.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to take a bit of pain, right? You have to take a step back or 2 steps back to go forward. But, you know, we have to see the forward progression.
Yeah. Bad start in the Nations League, there may be question marks over his future. The shot comes in from Suslov, who's actually got a goal against San Marino in their 4-0 win on Wednesday. Lewis Kumas, just dragged back by by Barrow, sorry. He might be booked as soon as he comes on.
Great skill.
And he is booked, Barrow. That's what I say about when you're a youngster like Kumas, you've got to do something to make yourself talked about and stand out, and he's done it in the 2 games. Now here's Burns, and he's offside. See what I say, Nathan? If you're playing the long ball like that down the flanks, isn't it better to have 3 quickies up front, 3 speed merchants? Can you see Wales going that way?
It's a possibility. I think it's difficult because Kiefer Moore, you know, he scored a lot of goals for Wales, Rob. You know, he's done well. He always does well. I think if you've got a creative 10 and 2 flyers outside him, I think that's equally as strong, if not more powerful.
So would you even
give yourself
think
a platform
about,
to play off?
say, I don't know, James, Wilson and
Brooks?
Yeah,
I would think about it, and I think
we've seen that before.
And I think then you know, you 2 need runners from deep though. Oh, that could be a bit
Jordan James, it was a bit. Called Peckerick on the top of the foot. That's really painful, and he's showing the pain.
Yeah, he's kind of left it on Dan James all afternoon, and Jordan's just
double dropped his toe and then
kicked his calf.
I don't know why I'm laughing. That hurt. And what you don't want is a player like Pekaric to miss out on a Euros because of an injury like that. I don't think it's not that serious. I've never seen the point of spraying the boot.
That's PR spray and not liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, I was going to say, what? So, what is the point, Nath, of spraying the boot?
I really don't know, Rob.
I can understand if he took his boot off and then the magic spray came on.
Yeah, with the sock.
Through the sock.
Yeah.
But surely it's not going to percolate through the boot, is it?
Maybe just cools the outside up a little.
He's all right, he's done the job. It is magic. You can get through the boot. Things you never understood about football, and trainers, as I call them, physios as they're called now. How the heck does a magic spray work? Through a boot. I've always wondered that.
I can't tell you.
It's the first time I've asked you about it, so you've had plenty of time to prepare.
We'll talk next time we're on the road.
Next season?
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave that one in abeyance. How does a magic spray work through a boot? Cross into the Wales box again. Oh, it may fall for another one here. And it was a shot from the edge of the penalty area by Benes, but this time Ward flopped down on it. My word, it could have been 3 or 4 in the well, it is 3, but it could have been 4 or so in the second half, couldn't it? And I'm afraid this long season, if you look back to last June and the defeat against Armenia and Turkey, it's been a long year.
It has, a very long year.
And I don't know about starting afresh in September.
Just not quite on the same wavelength, are we?
No.
That cohesion we're lacking. And again, you know, players coming in, it's always difficult. Yeah, James has either got to get closer or, you know, he's got to get closer there, or he's got to pull his midfielder back down to help him out.
Cabango there again. He'll deserve another holiday if he hasn't been on one already since the end of the championship season. Chris Mepham injured, of course, but he didn't play regularly as a starter for Bournemouth.
It's been a problem, and Rob has spoken about it. You know, players not getting enough games.
Yeah. Short corner. Oh, Ward stopped. Don't know why he stopped.
I don't know why the
caught on his heels then.
Don't know why the attacker ducked out of the ball, it seemed.
Liam Cullen fouls Skriniar. Skriniar looks at him and laughs. Oh, he's a big lump to be shoved over by little Liam Cullen, isn't he? So are we looking for next autumn? I don't know how Rob Page corrects this, or isn't it, if the FAW decide a change is needed, but the goalkeeper slot is a huge problem, isn't it? As the ball over the top is, there's an offside flag up against Tupta.
I think first and foremost, Rob, I think when you've not got, I keep saying, I think you can overlook Bale's contribution. We all know what he's done, but you can really think, oh yeah, well, we'll just carry on doing what we've done in the past. But I would honestly go back to a defensive shape. Yeah. I think that's how it started, and then they migrated into, you know, a back 5 that would become a back 3, and your 2 wide.
I'm not sure he's had the manpower to do that on this trip, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking overall.
Yeah.
A system of play which is recognisable.
Yeah.
And then whoever comes in, it's quickly, you've just got to adapt. This is the way we play.
Oh, the ball is given away again in midfield. This time Sheehan slipped, and it's 4. It's clipped home from distance by Benes, László Benes. And that puts it all in perspective for Wales. They have been absolutely thumped in Trnava. 4-0. And this long, difficult year for Rob Page has ended on a dreadful defeat. And that is the final whistle as well. So Slovakia head off to the Euros. Wales will slink off back home with a lot to think about, and with Rob Page facing a really uncomfortable summer. They have suffered a defeat by 4-0, their heaviest defeat since they were thrashed by Denmark in the Euros, delayed Euros in 2021. More fan pressure on Rob Page, a really uncomfortable summer, and they simply have to get it right with some of their big guns back in September, because it's finished in Trnava, a really despondent Wales side walking off after a shameful draw against Gibraltar and now a heavy thrashing by Slovakia. It's finished Slovakia 4, Wales 0.
Well, there we go. As much as it would be great to talk about magic spray for the next 25 minutes or so, the conversation you were having, the conversation is going to be dominated by Robert Page and his future as Wales manager, because fans in their numbers on social media calling for him to be sacked this evening, calling on the FAW to remove him, not to give him the Nations League, which starts in September, to cut Page's 4-year contract in half at the 2-year stage. Embarrassing on Thursday, pretty dismal this evening, beaten by 4-0. What a send-off for Slovakia to the Euros in Germany that they have had tonight. What an awful way for Wales to end this season. Yeah, we are on air until 10 o'clock. Beverly's World of Music coming up here on BBC Radio Wales and BBC Sounds. So get your thoughts in on social media at BBC Radio Wales. You can message me direct as well. We will try to bring you some post-match reaction as well from out in Taverna as the Wales players slope slowly off of the field. They will go over to the corner where the red wallers were sat to acknowledge and thank those fans who've travelled out and paid their hard-earned money to go there tonight and to go to the Algarve on Thursday, a lot of them as well, to watch that awful draw with Gibraltar. But I'm sure they've enjoyed the trip in some respects, but the football has given them absolutely nothing to saviour. And Nathan Blake, you know you're on sticky ground when those supporters in that stadium tonight are starting to take the mickey really out of Rob Page and singing, ironically, we're in transition tonight. They're not buying it.
Yeah, and listen, I understand it. I understand what they're saying, and I think personally, I'd like to say, like I said, last game against Gibraltar, I'd like to see us play in a system and a fashion that is building towards, you know, a philosophy of playing. At the moment, we are tending to play a back four more times than not. There's been times where we've gone with a back five, then switched to a back four. You know, there's been no real consistency. Also, like we say, there's factors to this. The fact that certain players don't play enough games, the goalkeeper being an obvious position. And but Rob's got to find a solution. You know, he definitely has to find a solution and a way of playing that, like tonight. You know, if you don't win it, then be very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah, there's that, isn't there? Be difficult to beat, but there's also, as you've alluded to in commentary, be creative, be imaginative, come up with something from an attacking perspective, and that was just badly lacking tonight. There was nothing really, was there, from Wales's, you know, the first choice team tonight.
Yeah.
Well, after that experiment that backfired on Thursday, he fully loaded things tonight as much as he could with the players he had available. I know there's several players missing, and people will point to that, and you have, but he didn't get a performance out of his top players tonight. Did he? Any of them?
You would look at Sheehan and say, you know, could do better. You know, Brennan Johnson could do better. You know, Broadhead could do better. You know, you can't afford to come into these games and have 4 or 5 players who are doing well, and then 4 or 5 players who are struggling, and well, not even struggling, just not up to speed with the game. For me, they're just going through the motion of the game quite often. But it's difficult. Like I said, there's so many different factors to why this is happening. But like I said, I would like to see us play in a pattern which, you know, all players just come in and just slot straight in, understand what their job is, what they're being asked to do. Like, I look at young Stevens today at right back and think, you know, he's spent best part of 75, 80 minutes isolated. No help from Brennan Johnson in the first half, second half, and then, you know, the person who replaces him, the same story applies. So it is definitely something I think the coaching staff need to sit down and really look and try and work out how they're going to play, and in the circumstances where they're struggling to put together their first team, is how they're going to approach the game.
Well, the question is, Rob, and we'll come to this in a moment, whether the FAW will give the coaching staff the opportunity to put things right in the Nations League in the autumn. But reaction is coming in, just asking people for their thoughts on the performance tonight. And Robert Page's position at Wills, who's a Swansea fan from Port Talbot, says the players are underperforming due to the atrocious management and leadership. There's simply no plan, there never has been. It was just that Bale could bail us out. Page has got no ideas and a change has to be made immediately. It will never get better with him. Daniel James says he should get the sack. A 4-year contract was a massive mistake and he never should have had another campaign after the World Cup. John says should have been sacked as soon as we got back from the World Cup in Qatar. Mark saying these games often mean nothing, but sadly we've seen these performances before under the manager when they do mean something. Had enough time, but only really had the conviction to blood JJ, which is Jordan James, isn't it, regularly, so not buying transition either.
Well, I think the transition is very definitely over. I don't think there's any doubt about that. As I said, I've always thought, speaking to people at the FA of Wales, they were very quick to back him after the Poland result. But I do keep qualifying that by saying they live among the Red Wall fans. You know, they're not living in ivory towers, so they're aware of the feeling. You also have to say, as I've said before, that the president, Steve Williams, has always backed Rob Page to the hilt. His term of office is coming to an end. So, I mean, you wouldn't totally rule out a change, I don't suppose. But the last conversation I had with Noel Mooney, the FA of Wales chief executive, who is, you know, is a paid employee, but obviously plans and directs things for the FA of Wales, he was at pains to tell me he was fully backing Rob Page. That was only a few weeks ago. So we shall see how that backing stretches now.
I think the danger for me is you've missed out on the Euros after you've got to the World Cup. All respect to Rob for that. You didn't have a great World Cup. You've then missed out on the Euros. If you go again now and miss another World Cup, you're starting to, that old, get it back into that years before you qualify again, and you don't want to get into that. But like I always say, large reason for why we were qualifying for tournaments, two of those three players have retired and one is struggling with injury. So
and Joe Allen as well, of course.
He was the two I'm talking about, Bale and Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Ledley, it is a difficult.
I think if you look at now,
I wouldn't call it transition at the moment.
No, I think transition is over.
If you've got your best 11, you're going to play.
They'll be experienced internationals now.
Well,
I get that.
You couldn't say it's transition then.
You could say it's an erroneous phrase anyway, because you could say that teams are always transitioning. You're always bringing new players.
Well, JJ coming into midfield has helped.
I think transition means trying to find a way of winning without Gareth Bale. I think that's
we're
effectively
18 months down the line now.
Exactly. Yeah. So. In his defence, you'd say he hasn't had Aaron Ramsey for hardly any of those 18 months. And he was, I always said it before, Bale would win games for Wales when they weren't playing well. But for Wales to play well, Ramsey had to play well. I think history bore me out on that one. The unknowns are, what happens about the goalkeeping situation? What is going to happen about Aaron Ramsey? You know, he's desperately trying to get back. I don't think there's any indication that he wants to give up on Wales. And if he comes back, is he still fit enough to do international football and, you know, and contribute? And then you bring back David Brooks, Harry Wilson, Ben Davis, Connor Roberts, Nico Williams. It's not been a full complement. Having said that, Rob Page is not stupid. He knows how much trouble this result has got him into.
Yeah, and probably Ramsey aside, we've had those players during the last qualifying campaign, right? So you haven't qualified with those players, no. Right? So it like I say, for the FA, it's got to be a really difficult decision to make. You know, do we cut our losses and go fresh, or do we, you know, understand that we're playing the long-term game, and okay, we've missed out on our Euros, but we expect to qualify for the World Cup? Because at the end of the day, it starts to affect things like sponsors and things like that. You know, if you're struggling with finance now and you start dropping outside the top 50 in the world, then it's all a knock-on effect.
Do you fancy any of the possible alternatives? I know you will never say that, you know, a manager should go, but if he were to go, do you fancy any of the alternatives who are out there who've been suggested, like Ocean Roberts, Steve Cooper, Nathan Jones? Or just go for a don't go for a Welshman. Go for someone.
That's exactly the point I'm coming to. Why you restrict yourselves on that hand? The ladies don't do it. You know, I don't understand why you have to restrict yourself. I'll be honest with you. I think the next man out of the hat could possibly sat on the bench today in the backroom staff if he gets his pro license.
Chris Gunder,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's only just starting on it now. 2 years time.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of like the thought process. It's got to be Welsh. I just don't agree with that. I think you limit yourself or restrict yourself hugely.
So is it going to change? You say go. It doesn't matter whether he's Welsh or not.
I don't care if he's from Pluto.
Okay.
If he can coach and he's got an idea and he's got a way of playing, I'm really not bothered.
Mickey Mouse.
Who's the manager of Pluto?
Mickey Mouse. So, just looking at the live page, by the way, the live page continuing online at the BBC Sport website. Just bringing you snippets of reaction from Slovakia. Our reporter there, David Pritchard, saying that Wales fans cheered the players after the final whistle. Page initially waited behind his squad, and then when he offered his applause to the supporters, they booed him. In case there was any doubt, Wales's fans have turned on Page. We've just seen Ethan Ampadu being interviewed, the captain, this evening. Try and bring you that interview if we can here on Radio Wales. But these thoughts continue to come in on X. Stephen Carroll, Swans fan, who we've had on the show before, says time the pundits admitted he's out of his depth rather than sticking up for him because he's a former teammate. He should go ASAP. He should have gone this time last year.
It doesn't matter what we say, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether he's a mate or not, it's not sticking up for him. It doesn't matter what we say. We've got no power to make or influence the decision one way or the other. So,
no, but they would say you're paid to give your opinion on whether you think he's doing a good enough job or not.
I give my opinion on what I see, and I say, right, I'd like to see a better way of playing. Until they sack him or he leaves or whatever, it's outside of our control.
We'll bring you some more reaction in a moment, but let's hear from Ethan Ampadu. Wonder what he made of this evening. Here he is with his thoughts.
Ethan, it's not the way you would have wanted your first game as captain to go, but a proud moment for you nonetheless tonight.
Yeah, it is, but that doesn't really matter. Like I said, it's disappointing, not just for me. I wore the armband today, but that's irrelevant. We lost the game, and it was disappointing second half, so that's the overall feeling.
Yeah, where did it go wrong for you tonight?
I think, as you saw in the first half, up until the goal, we defended well. They might have had a ball at some times, but we defended well, defended solid. And then I thought that on the ball we were good. We tried to build up, we tried to be brave. Just maybe all of us in the final third didn't have that bit of a clinical edge. And then they probably had one fairly decent shot and scored from it.
We've heard the reaction from fans towards the manager in the last 2 games. How do you as players react to that?
Oh, we don't like it. Obviously, the fans are entitled to their opinion, and it's warranted. We had two not great results, but it's not just aimed at the manager, it's all of us. We've been together through the highs, and we're always together through the lows. I mean, if we hadn't conceded in the first half, I know it's if buts maybes, but then you would have said it was a good first half. So we stuck to the game plan, and yeah, us players on the pitch, I held my hands up for a couple of goals, and we weren't good enough. So yeah, the criticism's aimed at all of us.
And just finally, for you as a team tonight, seeing that Slovakia side get their send-off, how tough is it going to be for you guys watching from afar?
Probably won't watch it. Might watch the final or something, but group games and stuff like that, probably wouldn't have to watch it.
Here we go. Alex Richards with Ethan Ampadu. Pull the curtains. Switch the telly off. Don't watch the Euros. That might be a good idea. Might be a good idea not to go on social media either tonight. Certainly if you're Robert Page. Obviously he's not on it anyway, is he, Rob? He says he doesn't... he don't get involved
but
with
he'll
X,
know
that
exactly
kind of
what the fans are thinking.
But somehow he is aware, isn't he? He knows what people are saying.
Yeah,
he knows
that's what
the
a media
is.
department is for. They tell him what the fans are saying. I mean, in a sense, the fans don't count, other than, the FA of Wales backed Rob Page immediately after the Poland game, as we revealed. They will now be under intense fan pressure. And you talk about, who's the names that keep coming up. Steve Cooper apparently is in talks with Leicester. Why? Steve Cooper is too, in a sense, too young to take an international job, because he's still got Premier League ambitions, and why wouldn't he after the job he did?
Sparky came straight out of playing into the job.
Yeah.
Cookie was young. Speeds was young.
But I'm with you. I mean, if the change, I'm still not certain the change is going to be made. But if it is, I'm not convinced it has to be a Welsh. Yeah, well,
it's not our job, and like I always say, I never call for managers' heads, because there's no point. It's just, if people got that opinion, that's fine and dandy. But I just look at it and I just go on what I think. Are there improvements that can be made? Yes, I definitely think so. Over the 2 games, would you say the set pieces could have improved? Yes, I do. Do you think the system of play we set up in could have improved? Well, I think against Gibraltar, you can go far more attack-minded than you did as a 4-3-3. I think you can go far more attack-minded because you didn't concede a shot on your goal. So tonight, that's going to be different. It's more of a sort of a 50-50 game. Once you conceded, the pitch became too big. There were certain players who were isolated. You've got to address these things. You've got a whole coaching staff there alongside you as well.
Well, I tell you what, again, tonight has proved Wales cannot play with 4 at the back. They just simply have to have 3 centre-backs and 2 wing-backs.
I think that's their best.
Tried it against Armenia a year ago. Look what happened then.
Yeah.
That was 4 goals conceded. 4 goals tonight. 4 at the back just doesn't work for Wales. We just don't have the players to be able to do that. Again, it was difficult to see with Mepham injured, Ben Davies injured. It's difficult to see whether he could play a 3 with 2 wing backs tonight, because I just don't think he's got the manpower to do it available on this trip. And Matt Baker was called up, but he's been playing League 2 in Newport County, so with respect, I'm not sure they would want to throw him into this.
Yeah, but it's a friendly, and I'm like...
Yeah, but he's still judged on the result.
Yeah, I know, you've got to be judged on every result. So, it's like saying when someone's a substitute, I didn't put him on because he wasn't fit.
Yeah.
If he's there,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm saying, is it better you slot into a system that everyone's, used of and understands, or like most players understand, even the fringe players, or is it you switch to a different system? And I do believe you've got to have a second system in your hand, even a third system. But that's more, for me, is right in your 0-0, and then you need to adapt to try and win the game, or you're 1-0 down, you need to adapt to try and win the game. But I wouldn't like to be in Page's shoes, let's put it that way.
No.